over there, can you see? That wind is bitter. You join me on day 4 of being here on the Arctic island of Langoya in Norway, kind of nestled between Lofoten and Senja, the more popular destinations. This is our second time here. We were back here at the beginning of the spring in 2023. We're here to photograph the Northern Lights. As you can tell, at the moment the weather is not playing our game. So since we arrived after an epic 16-hour journey on Sunday, it has been cloudy. It's been cloudy pretty much throughout. Today, however, it's not just cloudy, it's very windy, and it's also raining today. So actually the temperature, were it not for the wind chill, is probably the warmest we've ever had it here, 1 or 2 degrees. But the wind chill is making it really cold. I'm regretting not putting a hat on coming out of the house just now. I'm hoping this weather front that's coming through will leave some clear patches behind it. I want at least one good clear night before we leave in 3 nights' time. And hopefully things start to look up from this evening. Even though it's been cloudy and we were here principally to see the Northern Lights, we've had a great time. We've been dog sledding, we've been sledging down the hill behind the cabin here. So we've had a great time. We're with some friends who are staying 20 minutes up the road. So all will not be lost if we don't see the Northern Lights, but definitely things will be better if we see the Northern Lights. But these things aren't predictable, and it seems we are not as fortunate this time round as we've been the last 2 times we've come, where we've seen Northern Lights on our first night. So hopefully by the end of our time here we will see them. Anyway, thanks for joining, and hopefully over the next few days, we'll capture some Aurora. So this is night 4, and after tonight we've got 2 more nights. As you can probably see behind me, it's cloudy again. We've had some clear gaps, but unfortunately in those clear gaps, no Aurora showing at all. I maybe saw a light, diffuse green haze on the camera, facing kind of eastwards, but certainly nothing to write home about. Done a few time lapses, maybe something will show up on the time lapses between the clouds, but it's difficult not to get a little bit despondent. I brought my whole family here, we've got some friends staying down the road, and even though clearly I can't control the weather, I can't control auroral activity, you do sort of feel slightly responsible. So it looks like tomorrow night is going to be the best night. You can probably tell by the fact you can see me quite well. We've got a bright moon, it'll be full I think on Friday night, that's 2 nights time. Ideally you wouldn't come chasing the northern lights during a full moon, but we had to coincide this trip with school holidays, so we didn't really have a choice about when we came this time round. And we've been here before when the moon's been bright and had some fantastic displays. So good Aurora punches through a bright moon. But what it can't do is punch through thick cloud, and it can't punch through if it's not really there. So I can feel some spots of rain coming again. I think probably I need to call tonight a night. The forecast is for this sort of gap in the clouds to disappear very shortly, and I'm looking around and I can't see anything that resembles Aurora. So it's all going to come down to the last 2 nights. I mean, it's still an amazing place to sit and just take in the view. The landscape is completely illuminated with the silvery glow of that moonlight. You've got a reflection of the snow, the mountains are beautiful. I feel a bit spoilt and childish being despondent about the fact that I'm not seeing northern lights as well, because it's a lovely place to be, but northern lights was definitely the main thing we came for, so bring on the next couple of nights. So it's now Thursday, and as you can probably see, it's slightly brighter in the sky. And whilst there's probably far too much cloud at the moment for Aurora, it's hopefully better than last night. And sorry, by the way, for the slightly downbeat tone of yesterday evening's video. You probably sensed I was getting a little bit depressed by the lack of Aurora and the prominence of the clouds. But tonight, hopefully, is looking a bit better. So I'm looking here at the Windy app, and as I scroll over to 6 o'clock this evening, we're just on the west coast there, so where you can see those crosshairs. That sort of brown tone that you can see is clear sky. So from about 6 going past 7 and throughout the evening, there look like there are patches of clear sky around, and most forecasts seem to be suggesting cloudy and clear intervals sort of alternating. So hopefully tonight is our night. We'll have an early dinner, we'll be out there as soon as we can. Hopefully tonight is the night we get our Aurora. Welcome back. It is just before 7 p.m. Most of the sky is still covered in cloud. There are some larger breaks coming through, which is great. It's kind of what the weather forecast said it would do. Hopefully you can see behind me there, and it's just about visible with the naked eye, is the faint green auroral arc. So it's there. That's our first confirmed Aurora capture of this trip. What I want that thing to do now is to start exploding into life, and I want these clouds to disappear. We've got our friends Matt and Jen and their daughter arriving anytime now. We're all going to spend a bit of time down at this little beach in front of the fjord, and I really want to be able to show them the Northern Lights in all its glory. So whilst I'm waiting for them, I'm going to get a time lapse started over there, and let's get this show on the road, eh? Okay, so I think I've got my first composition lined up. I'm using the Samyang 14mm, I'm at f2.8. ISO 3200, and I'm shooting at 1.3 seconds of exposure time. I don't want to push the exposure too hard because I don't want to blow out the highlights if this Aurora picks up and starts going nuts. Compositionally, it's nothing massively exciting to write home about. Mostly I'm interested in what's in the sky, but some nice snow-covered rocks here in the foreground, and the snow is pretty pristine, unlike what's behind you over there. So I'll shoot that. I'm going to try and shoot it at, what I might do is either 3 second, probably 3 second intervals, so 1.3 second exposure, 1.7 second gap between those exposures. Hopefully, as the cloud clears, this will start to show something. So let's get the intervalometer on. The interval's already set for 3 seconds. And let's go and grab the other camera. The sky is definitely starting to clear, which is great. You can see Orion there, or most of Orion, above the mountains. There's no, blindingly obvious aurora, other than the green arc we saw down the horizon. Can't really see that with the naked eye any longer, but hopefully that will pick up again later. The moon must be about 95%, something like that. It's full in a couple of days' time, and it's quite breezy now. So whilst the temperature is still mild for this time of year, it's maybe 2-3 degrees above zero. The wind has picked up quite a lot this afternoon, so that is now getting quite in. Well, you definitely need a thick coat on. So I'm going to just keep a lookout. Hopefully, at some point soon, we'll see some decent Aurora. We're starting to get some action, which is awesome. We had a really bright pillar a short while ago, just a single pillar. It wasn't very tall, but it was definitely very bright. And now you can see that ribbon over there, definitely starting to dance, definitely starting to lift. Hopefully this is the start of something a bit more exciting. Most of the sky is now clear, which is good. A bit of cloud that's going to pass over shortly, but hopefully this is all getting going. That's the problem, isn't it? So what's going to happen? Yay! Okay, so the Aurora is quite quiet right now, but I'm just going to start another time lapse with a different composition on the other side of the jetty here. I'm facing sort of north, simple composition of the jetty. If you saw my pictures from the last time I was here in Langoya, you would have seen this composition. The Aurora's died down, but I'm hoping that by starting the time lapse now, I'll get sort of the build up as it sort of hopefully re-erupts. Okay, here we go. So 1 second exposure, 2 second interval, ISO 3200, f 2.2, Sigma art 24mm. Let's go. So we just hiked up through the woods from the car. We're only about 10 minutes from the car, but we're in this lovely clearing. We've got mountains over to the west, over to the north. You can see the faint green rural arc over there. We've got mountains down to the south as well. Just a really nice place away from any stray light. Obviously got the moonlight, which is quite a big stray light. So we're just going to camp ourselves here now, and hopefully things will kick off again. Just before I left home to get to here, there was a really strong green band to the north as well. So it's coming and going, but as you can probably see behind us, we've got quite a lot of high cloud as well. That's going to wash it out to the eye a little bit. So it certainly needs to get a bit stronger if we want to have a good show to the eye. So you can probably see behind, we've got pillars to the left, we've got pillars to the right. This is the first proper time it's kicked off since we've been here, which is awesome. And we can definitely see that pillar on the left very brightly now with the naked eye. To the right, they are fainter, just about visible, but that one on the left is very strong. Awesome. So I've got a time lapse going down there with the 24mm, 1 second exposure, f2.2 and ISO 3200 with a 1 second or 2 second interval. So hopefully that's picking up a lot of nice movement. That's getting really bright. Look at that. You see that, Matt?
Yeah. It's getting really bright, yeah.
Whoa! You see that curtain to the right of it as well?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Look at that.
Bring it on. Okay, well I was just about to pack up, but we've actually got some pillars kicking off again towards the north on the back of this camera. I don't think I can particularly see them with the naked eye, maybe ever so slightly, but they're very, very faint. But on the time lapse here, it's looking quite good. So I'm going to keep this camera rolling for another 5 minutes or so, and then I think we're going to call it a night. The cloud is starting to get certainly heavier, or the high cloud is getting heavier, so it's really washing out a lot of the Aurora, with the moonlight just sort of casting a glow all over the sky. We do have a really nice lunar halo at the moment. I'll put a picture of that on the screen now as well. It barely fitted actually on the 24mm that I'm using for the video camera. But we've had a really enjoyable night. Seen some great stuff, captured some great stuff on cameras. Finally on our penultimate night we got something. Got one more night tomorrow night where hopefully it'll kick off again. We've got an early morning the following morning, so we can't be out too late that night because we've got a long drive back to the airport and then a long day of travelling. But it's been great to finally get something, and hopefully there'll be more to come. Unfortunately, the following night turned out to be completely clouded out.
And as you can see from these time lapses, activity that night remained fairly weak, and especially weak when you consider that this was very close to the peak of the solar cycle. It just goes to show that Mother Nature can never be taken for granted. To an extent, that's what makes chasing Aurora so enjoyable, is there's always that element of uncertainty. It causes frustration, but it also means when you capture the shot you're after, it's all the sweeter. Now, I'm not going to leave you with these disappointing time lapses, but instead I'm going to take you back to a short film I produced one night in April 2023 when the skies above Langoya were dancing for the whole night. If you've got this far, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you joining me on these adventures, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.